Well, how to do if it isn't Mutants and Masterminds Monday? Tell me, friends, can you hear me all right? Of course, asking those folks in chat. I can't hear you if you're watching this on demand. Though I can still see you. Jokes.
Right?
Nice, excellent.
These are the jokes, son.
Mutants and Masterminds Monday comes to you nearly every single Monday. But it is all about connecting with our fans, people who love Mutants and Masterminds, the world's only superhero tabletop role-playing game. And in this experience, we have two industry luminaries, I'll say. Look at these guys. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello there.
Looking good. You're on the deck of the Starship Mumamo.
Rocketing to the stars.
Boldly going where no one was gone before.
Where people ask you not to come back.
Where no stream has gone before.
Hey, look at everybody in chat, you guys. Sean Dugan, good to see you, friend. You've been, you're a sight for sore eyes. Some Good Soup says hello, hello. I had a really cool dream this morning, and I wrote it down, what I remembered about it. Well, that's cool. Quite a development. You'll have to, depending on its contents, you will need to tell us all about it. Let's see. Everyone's telling me, yes, they can hear. Again, I'm just, we use StreamYard to stream this
for now.
But they jacked up the price like 3 times the whatever, and then they also cut off that beginning chat because people line up. Like the line stretches around the studio.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so they have conversation and all that stuff, and I like to look back and see what people are talking about, and then I lose it all. It's a real pain. Hey, Peyton F says hello.
Welcome,
probably
Peyton.
more actually exuberant than that. It was like hello. There's an exclamation point. RC says, look at that, loud and clear. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you, RC. Devious is here as well. Learn Music says can hear. Good deal. Paul is here as well. Look at all you. Hey, Big Nate. Good to see you, friend. Big Nate, I think, calling in from some Midwestern state now. Having left the Puget Sound area for greener, well, maybe not so green pastures, drier, dustier pastures.
Flatter.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So Jay Gray's putting us on Bluetooth, which is good. That means we're going right into his brain where we need to be. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Oh shoot. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm already hitting it. Darn it. Don't do it, Nate. Don't do it. Virginia. Is Virginia
That is not a Midwest state. That
is not. That is an East Coast state.
I don't really know an East Coast state, really. Okay.
Yes. One of the original ones, as I understand it.
There's like 13 of them.
Really? Okay.
14 if you count Florida.
And that's where they invented Virginia Slims.
Exactly.
Yeah. The cigarettes that my mother smoked. That when I was a kid, I used to be able to just go to the store and bring a note from my mom saying, can I buy these for my mom? 8-year-old. Wild. Anyway, so rather than go too far back in time and my history as a child, I also want to say, oh, you sucker. Nate.
Welcome to therapy.
It was fairly predictable, Troy.
I know. I was trying to get to it. That's why I was kind of vamping on, childhood experiences. You turd. Okay. Thank you, Nate. I do not appreciate that, but thank you nonetheless.
Now you're just encouraging him.
I know. Happy Moon Memo unto thee. Of Gods and Game Master says jump to hyperspace, and that's what we're doing, right?
Yes, absolutely. Indeed. It's all about spaceships.
It is all about spaceships, yeah. And so the idea, we of course we'll be tapping into some of the stuff that we did for Starhaven. Famously, something that we worked on, created in partnership with our friends on the Patreon, which are now, of course, the Cape and Cal Club, which everyone can find at the atomicthinktank.com.
Correct.
What's the general gist of Starhaven?
So Starhaven is basically an alien colony on one of the moons of Jupiter. That is the reconstruction of an alien colony that was on the moons of Jupiter. Basically, there's this ancient alien city on the moon of Europa, and when there was a influx of alien refugees into Earth's solar system in the Earth Prime universe, um, the ultimate solution was to resettle them on this livable environment in the midst of the solar system, so that they could set up their own space.
I dig it. So kind of sort of a melting pot of different
Mm,
alien races and such,
yes,
and
indeed.
they've got a bunch
What
of
if we
different. Go ahead.
what if we took all the aliens on Earth and put them over here?
Right.
Right. All these problematic pals, they can have fun together, hanging out at Starhaven, and also, what was Starhaven? It wasn't it something already? Like it was a.
It was
I mean,
a
there's a lot of weird stuff.
preserver installation.
Hmm.
I gotcha.
Yes.
I dig it. I dropped a link. Hey, Fox Scar says, I love how the opening of the Starhaven book basically goes, hey, man, we weren't planning on fleshing this out, but you asked.
Right.
Quite literally.
It's exactly what happened.
That's exactly how it happened. Hey, Claude, good to see you too. There's someone else I saw. Squire, of course, is here. Sean Holland, you are right on time. Matthew Tyler says, Guten Tag. Sorry, guys. I just like to give a little shout out. Okay, so when we're talking about,
Oh,
hey,
good.
Doc, good to see you.
I was
when
the
we're
original
talking,
person who said, "Why don't we know more about this?"
what Doc
Right.
was?
No, Alex was.
No, I was.
Alex.
Alex originally asked me about, and he
Oh,
was like, "So the Starhaven place, that you mentioned, where can I find out more about that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, we don't have any more. That's
now
it."
that was before you were working here,
That's
right?
all of it.
Uh,
It was right after I was brought on, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. You're like,
yeah,
now
it's
that I'm
when
in
Alex thought he had access to all of the behind the scenes secrets,
right, the
and
vault.
I'm going to have so much secret information.
right, and I opened the door and it was like, "Look, the secret information room empty,
It's just a
nothing.
picture of you.
There is no
This
secret
is-
information."
This is where I would keep my secret information if I had any.
The
Right.
vault is in your head. I love that. Let's see. Oh yeah, Claude talked about the vote. That was fun. The voting part.
Hmm.
The three of you were, Crystal, you, and the two of you were playing different politicians, right?
Yeah.
Did Alex win?
The people I was representing won.
Alex's
Yeah.
faction won. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Very, very fun. So Starhaven, is it just a hustle and bustle and has got starships for days coming in, coming out? What's the story there?
Well, my impression is probably not, as far as that goes, although that could change. Um, the way it was set up was the notion that Earth's solar system and therefore Starhaven were something of a galactic backwater. And part of the reason why a lot of refugees from the collapsing, Lower Republic fled into Earth's solar system was the fact that, um, one, it wasn't all that interesting, and two, it had all these superpowered people,
Problematic.
who
Yeah.
were pretty good at repelling alien invaders. Had held off the Gru, that sort of a thing. So probably, these Earthlings could, deal with whatever came along. But the influx of aliens became problematic to deal with on Earth, and it became a whole political football of what to do with them and where they should stay. And um, eventually, Daedalus and the Freedom League proposed Starhaven as as an option for them to sort of set up their own autonomous environment. And so there have definitely been, our impression has always been there have definitely been ships shuttling people from Earth to Starhaven until it was settled. And there have probably been fairly regular visits from space capable factions and governments on
Mhm.
Earth primarily Unison and Aegis and the governments they represent and all of that. We don't know how many, and I think this is kind of a detail that's up to the game master. We don't know how many. Now that Starhaven's a place that it has started to like attract other people from other areas to come to it. It could very well be, like, oh, this haven has been created. Other refugees might start coming there. Um, and that could pose some interesting opportunities and challenges for Starhaven in and of itself.
Sure.
If an influx of other aliens start showing up, looking to move in.
Right, with different cultural sensibilities or
Hmm.
even looks or, how he's handling all kinds of stuff and also, with different kinds of technology and spaceships.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely a question of and probably one issue that the you know Starhavians will start thinking about is they have kind of limited capabilities of their own in terms of ships. So it might be something that they want at some point, if only for you know exploration, defense, going out and getting stuff they need, you know,
Right.
those kinds of things.
I like that. So
Yeah.
so what Starhaven definitely represents a collection of reasons. Like reasons that you may want to have a spaceship.
Mhm.
Whether you're like a diplomacy situation or some kind of, deep spy kind of stuff. I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump to some of these questions. Doc Void asked you, Alex, didn't you do a series on the Untold Stories project set in Starhaven?
I did. I did the Guardians of Haven, which was sort of my love letter to the Guardians of the Galaxy, because Starhaven to me has always been sort of this outlaw Wild West kind of setup,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's this burgeoning frontier town, and there's all these opportunities, and it's a cool
Yeah,
chance to do some
absolutely.
space outlaws living in their
Yep.
ship and having a good time.
Fox Garada real quick says I ran a side story for the Alien PC in my next gen game where he visited Starhaven. After he got back, he taught the next gen how to play grab ball. Nice.
Nice.
Grabball's a ton of fun.
I mean,
I did it.
Starhaven really is the place where you're most likely to find aliens barbecuing in an open air market,
Hmm.
anywhere around.
Logic Core says we identify as Starvians. Thank you very much.
Ah, apologies. Starvians it is.
I love that. Also, cephalopods do rule. All right, awesome. So
Starhaven is such a continuously evolving culture. It's hard to
it
keep up.
really is. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And autonomous, in its way. So
Very autonomous.
I was expecting Starvanians, but that's just
Mm,
the star vampires.
right.
that's right. That is exactly
From
right.
Starvania. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so as a tool to kind of get things cooking in the space world, Starhaven is a good launching point, or at least a good place to kind of marinate in. What are
Hmm.
some other things that we should be thinking about when we're talking about starships?
Well, you're looking at what is the starship for in my
Yeah.
story? Is it meant to
Mm,
just be a means of getting from point A to point B? Is it where our characters live? So it's their headquarters. Generally has a personality of its own to take into consideration. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think that,
how ubiquitous are starships in the game I'm going to be telling?
right. I think it's important to start with that notion of, well, what are the starships about in this setting, this story, this series? For a lot of superhero series, starships are just a plot device. They're primarily, to get the heroes from, Earth to some fun, exciting adventure out in space. Or they're, invaders, who are showing up uh, around or at Earth. But if the series is about the characters being on a starship, and exploring the galaxy or traveling to different places or just being, sort of the Guardians of the Galaxy type, ne'er do wells who are just wandering around getting themselves in trouble. That's a whole different thing.
I do like the conversation in chat right now. And, folks, if you're watching this on demand, you definitely want to tune into the chat. Lots of great resources, lots of great ideas pumping through. But talking about the different kinds of ships, and one of they're talking about right now is a bioship, like a living.
Mm.
That's
Yep.
kind of cool.
Messy.
Let's
Squishy.
see.
Could be, yeah. So
What was that? Say that again.
bioships can be
Squishy.
messy, squishy,
Yeah, squishy. Yeah, juicy, and also
Right.
maybe moody.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Let's see. Klutz says I need the next actual play to be set on Starhaven so I can play one of the Morbians.
Morbians are cool. I love a moody starship, even if it's not an organic one. Like the Millennium Falcon's moody.
Right.
Yeah. You like
Be
a
sure.
pithy kind of fun, problematic. Colin says, what about living planets like Ego from Marvel? Oh,
I don't know if they count as ships, but they certainly are, creatures.
I like this. Of Gods and Game Master shares the cephalopods in one of my sci-fi settings are the ones who developed bioships. They'd
Mhm.
be the ones to do it.
Yeah, there's something about cephalopods and bioships. I don't know.
Now, you say cephalopods?
I do say cephalopods, but cephalopods,
I don't need. I think it's now that I'm going to think it's cephalopods.
potato. I'm not sure.
Right, exactly. Matthew Tyler says, as far as ideas for a PC ship goes, one of the characters in Rogues, Rivals, and Renegades Volume 2 from Vigilance Press has a personal starship that creates gold as a waste product of its
Of its
FTL
star
drive system.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's handy.
Yep.
It's interesting too. That's like a dimension to think about. Like, is there an impact that the ship's just powered, moving around in the space? Is it doing something, creating something?
Well, I mean, you can always, as we've seen in a lot of science fiction, you can play around with the ship's power systems and like as a plot device.
Sure.
What fuels does the ship run on? Does it need special materials? Are there reasons for the characters to go and look for, the special crystals the ship runs on or whatever, in order to affect repairs or because they're running out of fuel? It makes it for a good plot hook, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think of, for you two, when you think of your perfect spaceship, what are you thinking of? What do you, where do you go for, and this is your own personal, like this is where you want to be if you were to be on a spaceship.
Oh, if we were going to be in a spaceship?
Yeah.
Oh, then for me, I want like full on like Star Trek Galaxy class hotel in space
Right.
type spaceships that have carpet and big hallways and holodecks.
Yeah. Lots of hall and replicators.
Right, exactly. The whole, like all of the amenities, replicators, the whole nine. Yeah, it's something that's like a giant, hotel in space.
I never thought about it like that, but that's pretty much what it is, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I want to experience the sonic shower.
None of this like cramped quarters and no gravity and
all the smells of like let's say
right.
What is the Serenity? Is that the show?
Firefly?
Yeah. Firefly.
Firefly ship.
Yeah. I mean, you just know that was a fragrance ship.
Yeah, without a doubt.
How about you, Alex?
I think I'm in the same boat as Steve. I love a cruise ship as a spaceship. If I
Right.
had to live on one personally, like I want a holodeck so I can do all that fun holodeck shenanigans.
That's right. DP Starts mentions Floston Paradise. Now that was the ship that was going to Floston Paradise, right? I mean, there was a ship going. That's the wasn't that Bruce Willis? Corbin, then that guy, the black guy that was Ruby Rod
in Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. That's it. Yeah. I couldn't remember if that was. Oh, Lex was a life ship. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I also love the appeal of a starfighter. I like X-wings and Y-wings and
all that
dogfighting kind of spaceships.
Yeah, Chris Tucker was great in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know if starfighters are good for long-term travel. I think I'd get a little tired of the equivalent of driving, cross country in a ship. But
stuck in my sedan.
Right. Because I got to imagine the pit stops are fewer and further between.
Nice. Thank you, Devious. Yeah, so the Fifth Element ship was the Floston Paradise. That was fun. of Gods
Yeah,
and Game Master says, got to
I
come up with reasons why
I honestly don't know
starfighters
if you
don't
need to
count.
come up with a reason. I think they're kind of a reason unto themselves. Starfighters and dogfighting in space. They're cool. I don't think you
Yeah.
need a reason more than that. You know,
Yeah, Matthew, that's what we're talking about.
generally
Though
speaking,
everybody is spelled Floston Paradise in a different way.
differently.
Yeah, you
Nice.
do. That is sort of Gods and Game Masters brings up a good point where you do have to ask yourself when you're starting to include space travel. Are you looking at hard science fiction? Are you looking at sort
Yeah.
of fantasy science fiction? Is our Expanse stuff going to be a good use for you for spaceships for your M&M game?
Ooh,
If you're looking
right.
at sort of that hard sci-fi
Yeah.
bent,
Yep.
because dogfighting doesn't make any sense in hard sci-fi.
Right. Not so much.
Right. Devious mentions Mars Attacks. That is one of my favorite. Those aliens are just ridiculous.
Right.
They're so funny. Let's see. What about starfighters? But you're actually trying to fight stars, which are sentient and malevolent. Wow, malevolent in this
Right.
universe. Very interesting. So yeah, you're fighting the living planets who are angry.
You got to
about
watch out for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Apu, good to see you, sir. Caps locked or not. Okay, so that's it. It was yeah, they're hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about Farscape. Yeah, that's Farscape is great.
It is something to consider when you're talking about things like starfighters as well. Whether or not your player characters are all supposed to be capable starfighter pilots, or is some of them starfighter pilots and other ones have other things to do. But especially when it comes to spaceship combat, and we're probably going to be referring to the Expanse a lot, because that's our company reference point, is giving some thought to what the roles of all the members of the crew are, and if there's different things for different crew members to be doing during a combat, and sort of the what everybody's going to be doing, so you don't end up with player characters who are just sitting around watching other people take part in a fun dogfight with spaceships.
Interesting. We're talking also about scale, right? I mean, what is the purpose of the mission is one thing, but then there's also the whole notion of like, are we talking about the hotel? Are we talking about something smaller? And when does a starship when does it become a starfighter, like, or something smaller, or is there any limit?
Fighters tend to be 1 or 2 person craft that are
Mhm.
fairly tiny and maneuverable, comparatively speaking. I mean, they might still be starships in that they're capable of faster than light travel. Star Wars has fighters that can, enter hyperspace and travel between star systems and things like that. Other times, fighters aren't capable of that because the technology is too big, or there's some other in-system reason for it, and they have to dock with bigger ships that are capable of FTL travel. But
Got it. There's also some interesting personal sort of not quite aesthetic, but sort of driving principles. Like Jay Gray says, I honestly only like to explain sci-fi principles as a means to generate potential conflict, drama, and tension for the players, which makes sense.
sure.
And then we've got Matthew Tyler says, I'm more of a personal transport type of M&M game. Let's see, for any superhero game for that matter, compact with a small crew requirement, but still something that could be used as either a means of transportation or at most a mobile base of operations. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's looking at things like the Falcon or the Serenity or other transport, like basically semi trucks in space kind of ships.
Right. What you can go basically RVs in space.
Right. I like Fox's solution too. Fox Corona says, give me an individual color-coded starfighters that can all combine into one giant space mech. Who needs
Sure.
physics? I like that. Okay, and so when putting all of these pieces together, Do you want to think of, or does it help? Is it helpful to think of the spaceship as an entity, or like, not if maybe you choose not to go the sentient route, and it's not some kind of plucky, smart ass, computer with a,
Hmm.
with a whatever, with a history or something. But
Right.
it's, do you? How do you create? Are there mechanisms to consider? Are there things that you should, how do you engage with the ship so that it becomes uh, a mechanism that works for your game?
Well, I think it goes back to what Alex originally talked about, which is what is the ship for?
Yeah.
If the ship is primarily a means to an end to get characters from, adventure to adventure, and it's not that important, beyond that, I don't think that apart from the occasional change of pace story, it's not all that important that the characters engage with the ship because it's not about that.
Hmm.
Um, but if the campaign is more focused on the character's ship, then I think it's about just like any element of the series. You want to have the players feel that it's a real thing that they can engage with, to have a really just a sense of how it's laid out and what it's like to be on it, and what day-to-day life is like, and all of those sorts of things. And a lot of it is about just providing that sort of sense of things.
Yeah, and asking yourself how important is it that the ship has actual game statistics? Like the ship
Hmm.
can be as much of a character even without having a character sheet. Just
Yes.
dealing with if you're never expecting the ship to get into combat, you don't have to worry about giving it stats because it's just there.
Hmm.
Yeah, Paul mentions a spaceship should have a character, even if it doesn't have a character, and it should
Yeah.
reflect the PCs. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
I can see
Sure. I
that.
mean, it should have a style to it, I mean, or you can have quirks, it can have things that the characters really like or dislike about it, you
Mhm.
know. The Holden's fondness for the Rocinante having a coffee maker,
Right.
is not
Yeah.
exactly a big game element, but it's a very big, bit for his character.
Right. Yeah, and it flavors the interactions and the what happens there. Rebel Moose says, I think the player should give character to the ship. The mechanic comments on creaks, groans, and quirks of operation. The pilot talks about how it handles and feels, and the captain has a reverence. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in a game where the ship is central like that, yeah, it becomes a setting piece that everybody should feel free to contribute towards
Right.
because that'll
Yeah.
help them build an attachment to it for when you ultimately destroy the ship.
Exactly. Or threaten it.
That look on your face. Devo says, try a mana system replacing is that Vancian?
Fancy and spell casting. Yeah.
Gotcha. Instead of resting and memorizing spells, you can spam spells until your mana runs out and chug mana points to spam some more. Okay,
Sure.
interesting.
That
Fox
would
is,
be great for our stream when we're talking about magic systems.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So do you think of any like if someone's just really keen on they want a system that helps them kind of keep things. Don't we have HQ rules or
We
sort
do.
of.
We have vehicle and
Mhm.
HQ rules, and you can combine them both to make an interesting ship.
Yeah, that feels right to me. What was that in?
They're right in the Hero's Handbook, but we expand on them some in gadget guides as well.
Nice.
In fact, we talk in Hero's Handbook that if you have a big enough vehicle, it can basically have all of the features of a headquarters, and that is certainly true of large ships.
Gosh, I like that. And so for those folks who may not have seen that yet, what are some of the suggestions that you would the systems that would help kind of make sense of operating a starship?
Well, I think that we can look at the various game stats that the ship would have in terms of its features and its various, whether it has weapons or other effects and the like. I think that the key thing really is establishing roles for the characters in operating the ship. just in terms of who's the pilot, who's the
Yeah.
navigator, who's the engineer and the mechanic who fixes things, who's the one who repeats whatever the computer says, you know, um,
Right.
those kinds of things. Basically that usually on ensemble stories where the characters have a ship, everybody has some kind of a role on board or a thing to do. And I
In a
think that's
relationship with the ship.
right, and therefore a relationship with the ship.
I
So
like that a lot.
I think
Who
that's
does the
kind of
ship hate?
Who did
right.
yeah.
Honestly, either overtly or just gives the impression that
That's
the ship clearly hates this person.
right. Yeah, the door to their, to their bunk
Right.
won't open, the coffee spills or, or is cold by the time they get to it or, fun
Hmm.
stuff like that. I
Yeah.
just had this vision real quick. I could imagine, there are some heroes who are built to be technological or they get it. They're going to be
Hmm.
on this. And there are going to be some that are just like, I don't know anything about any of this. And I
Right.
can imagine there being some kind of especially with like a bioship, an interface where the only person who could really function with the ship is the one that isn't technical, and they have to
Yeah.
kind of mind meld with
Yeah.
the ship in a
Especially
kind of,
if it's a ship that has a mind of its own,
yeah.
it might actually be the person who's the most personable. you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the most in tune with their emotions or whatever, but that's fun
It'd
stuff.
be fun to build in like a circumstance penalty for characters who are just naturally Luddites or like have done something to offend the ship, like didn't use a coaster or something. Like
Right.
the AI is so tuned to what's going on inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Left, debris in the airlock,
Mhm.
kind of thing. Oh yeah. Yeah. Honestly, there is, when I think of like things that just give me a chill, the phrase, um, I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Oh,
It's
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
just gives me the chills every time.
Right.
Just a very polite, like, you're going to die. It's
Yep.
just intense.
There's
There's a lot of
nothing worse.
precedents in sci-fi too, where the ship, like somebody falls in love with the ship. Like in the Normandy, people were talking about in Mass Effect.
Yep.
The pilot falls in love with the AI, and they give it a body and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you can really
I think that happened in Legends of Tomorrow too. I'm pretty
I was gonna
sure.
say it actually happens a lot. It's
yeah, it
quite a
happens
it's
Yeah,
quite a
it's
bit.
a it's quite a trope at this point.
yeah. The TARDIS did that too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, so Paul asked for complications. That could be one, right?
Oh yeah. If you're dating your
Ship
ship,
has a
yeah,
crush on me.
total
Or you're
complication.
chasing down someone who fell in love with the ship, and they're supposed to bring some stuff to the whatever, and they've got people in the other thing, but the AI and the pilot fell in love, and they have other plans.
Indeed.
Doc Boy says Steve knows a thing or two about writing homicidal AI.
I have written a few homicidal AIs in my time.
I like that. Oh, was that a subplot on Futurama? I love that cartoon, by the
Oh,
way.
almost certainly, because Futurama has basically done every sci-fi trope at one point or another.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some other complications we can put in there for a ship?
Well, I mean, if the ship is less than pristine in condition, then there's always the question of systems malfunctioning or breaking down or not functioning the way they're supposed to, or encountering ion storms or other space phenomenon that make them go wonky.
Yeah,
And you can always get, oftentimes, an entire adventure out of the ship malfunctions, and now you're all going to die.
they've done a whole series based on that whole thing, right?
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fun thinking about like you came in that thing, you're braver than you look complication for the ship.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I like
It's
that.
fun that the ship can be HQ, it can be adventure hook, it can be transport, it can be. There's so
Yep.
many opportunities for a starship as a
Yeah,
central
indeed.
point in your story.
Indeed.
On some level, it could even be just a member of the team.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it often is, especially
Yeah,
again if it's intelligent in its own fashion. As folks in chat have pointed out in one form or another, the ship might also be unique in some way,
yeah,
and therefore an object of great value to a lot of people.
right.
If just for example, the ship is the last bioship, of this species that's no longer existent, or it's, the last example of a piece of preserver technology or something else
Right.
that's weird and unique and now kind of attached at the hip to the player characters, you're going to have everyone in the galaxy who wants to get this ship, and they don't really care about the crew all that much.
Steve, you just
But
gave me an idea for an adventure.
see, there you go.
Like, eccentric billionaire hires thieves to steal the other. Like, there are two of these bioships, and they're a breeding pair, so they're hired to
Right.
steal the
You got to
last
get the
Alex,
other
ship.
one so that
I
you
wasn't
can
thinking of
make
breeding
more.
pair. I wasn't thinking of breeding pair, but I definitely was thinking of like some, quadrillionaire who's like, I want that, just as a trophy in
Yeah.
there, whatever. And then, that's awesome.
Indeed.
Spaceship conservationist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's-
Let's see. Here's a question. Mischievous Troll asks, would you build a sentient ship that can make its own decisions as a vehicle or a construct?
Both. It's a intelligent construct that inhabits a vehicle
Mhm.
There you go.
and
A via construct.
therefore has
Uh,
control over it.
I love that. I always love a good heist anything. I just love
Oh,
them. They're
sure.
so super fun. That
Sure.
could be a lot of fun with
And you
that.
could do a fun, heist, reverse heist story where somebody gets on board to steal the character's ship, and locks them out of it, essentially, and they have to retake it.
Right. Or how about this one? It's a rental.
It's a rental. Yeah, yeah. Don't get the extra insurance. It's a space scam.
That's right.
Not a space scam.
It's the worst
Yeah,
kind.
Lord of Maximus, we were talking about Farscape. That definitely. Now I'm trying to remember. Now, it wasn't the ship that started to go weird and bloomy. It was the woman,
Yes.
right?
True. Although the ship was also a bioship, and as folks mentioned, it also even had its own, baby spaceship
That's
that was
right. That's
far
right.
more vicious and violent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I like that symbol says stolen ship with the heroes locked inside. But yeah, it could be a stolen ship with secrets you didn't know. Some kind of clue to a larger mystery that you didn't know you were a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Tyler says, in my personal M&M headcanon, the Quarwall Tojan personal ship of the Starhaven-based Gen Xeno was originally an ultra-rare former part of the Curator's collection.
Yeah. Perfect
I love it.
example of the ultra rare collectible ship.
Yeah, I love that.
And the collector who wants it back.
Right.
Right.
The guy
Yeah.
who wants it back. And of course the heroes who are like, but the ship is our friend. We can't
Yeah,
let that happen.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Moved to protect or, preserve. I also love this idea too. What if the ship's AI is a con artist? Says
Mhm.
some good soup, so
Sure.
it's just basically
Sure.
just a
It could
con.
it could be
Love
really great if the characters after a while find out that the, ship that they are on and have been working with is on the run because of its gambling debts. And,
That's right.
the AI is like, well, I might have confabulated my background a little bit and, you know, maybe didn't actually escape from, enforced servitude so much as ditched out on my bail.
I
I
can
put
just see
myself
this,
up as collateral.
right? I can just
Right,
see.
exactly. I put myself up as collateral, and you understand how awkward that is.
I love it. I love it. And I would be hilarious if over the adventure, more and more people were coming out of the woodwork saying they were scammed and they're trying to find the
Mhm.
ship. And that's why all these
Right,
people are hunting it down,
right,
and the ship is playing, played some kind of a trick on them to think, hey, protect me from these,
right.
I love it. A ship with gambling debt stuck with is great. Yeah. You didn't steal the ship, it stole the crew.
Right, it has stolen you, apparently.
Like, I know it makes sense for the ship to have like a robot that can go out to do the gambling, but I'm picturing a starship at the poker table with like a visor and sunglasses.
Right.
Cards.
It just takes a big enough casino, with a
Mhm.
dock.
Right? Yeah. Surely.
They let
That's
all the
love.
ships gamble in the dock while the humans are gambling inside.
That would
Right,
be hilarious if there was
right.
another level of gambling for shits. That is so good. I really like this. Yeah,
That's some
online
stuff that
gambling.
Narshada should be doing. I don't think space gambling is creative enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can just imagine telling that story. You see before you a giant, docking bay with ships some of them are bio, some of them are
Right. It's
mech,
like,
some of them
are
are
they recharging? What are they doing there? I don't get it. And then one of them is just like, it's on my number.
right. Bingo. That's so good. Rebel says, "Well, online
Claude brought
gambling
up
is
the idea of having a dime a dozen ship, and the idea of accidentally parking two ships that look the same next door to each other and winding up on
Yep.
somebody else's adventure when you go back
oh,
to your ship.
that's a good. Oh, that's a
Yep.
really good one. Wow, I
And
could just.
and the absolute trope to play if you've got a unique ship is, of course, they're unique, except for the fact that there is one exact twin that someone else has.
Right, that's the opposite
That's
demeanor
right.
or
That's
the.
the opposite, and it's quite possibly evil if your ship's good.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Let me see. I saw a good comment that I wanted to. Oh yeah, the ship could be recruiting its own crew. Come work for inside me.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
they're smart enough or cunning enough, they could be like showing all kinds of holograms and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You could be working for a bunch of people that are just really a construct of the ship.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
If you have the twins, you could do the parent trap, but the crew trap.
Right. Let's get
I
our
love
crews
it.
together. They should be great friends.
Oh,
Right, the
that could
ships
be
are having a
fun.
meet cute.
Yeah, right. And that could be fun too, though. There's always there's that trope where the bad guy is really the old love interest of the good guy, and they
Mm-hmm.
meet up there. So we meet
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah. Oh yeah. If the ships are X's, then it gets really messy.
right. This is great. I love this. There is it was a long running podcast that was about people who were in space, beings, entities, and stuff, and it was hilarious. I'm trying to remember what, but the ship was sentient.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old star of entertainment star, and so it would just spend its time remarking on its history and sort of
Mm-hmm.
Hollywoodish sort of experiences. It's very very funny. I'm gonna try to find the name of it.
Hmm.
I've forgotten it, but I love that. I mean, I see that we're all kind of drawn to the spaceship in this particular moment as a being, a character.
Yeah.
Is there
That's an interesting sci-fi idea where the primary sentient beings in the galaxy are the ships, and the crews are sort of like subservient beings to the ships who
Mm-hmm.
rule their
oh
lives.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it becomes a really interesting question of what the ships want.
They could just want a better gut biome.
Could
Yeah,
be.
crews are just
Humans
currency.
often do. So I mean,
Yeah, right. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Make a spaceship probiotic and you just vent the crew into space.
right.
Right. I'm not feeling so good. If someone leaves the campaign or swaps characters, just say the ship lost them gambling.
Right.
I love this. Devious says, "What if your starship is the equivalent of a food truck?" Sure.
There's a
Eventually.
great campaign there. Just traveling
Yeah.
the galaxy, feeding everybody.
Right. I love
Especially
that.
just given the vast range of what different species consider food.
I would just want to know what the different names of the food trucks would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like some punny kind of hilarious take on something. Let's see. The Starship Taco Tuesday, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. What if you're yeah, David Block mentions the mirror universe version of the ship. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this does take shipping to a whole new level.
Yes.
Some good soup for sure. But I do like the way that I'm always a kind of a sucker for practical ways to give people a break when it's if you're running a campaign or you're participating in a campaign, there's always going to be someone who's sick or couldn't be there, and to
Mm-hmm.
have sort of a ready-made excuse,
Yep.
I love that. And not that I would say that the ship gambled them away, but maybe they did, and part of you got to go get them back.
Yeah.
I dig that. Though I'm wondering how that
Or
might.
that character was left on the ship when the ship got stolen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, friends, we're about a quarter to the top of the hour, And I want to remind you all that we love engaging and talking and having these conversations every Monday, nearly every Monday, on this very award-worthy program. But you can help us become even more
Worthier.
Yeah. You can assure that these voices, your voices, are heard across the solar system. All you have to do, or the universe, really, the multiverse. How about that? Is give the stream a like, leave a comment, whether you're on Facebook, over on does Twitch do likes?
I don't know. Does
I
it?
don't know what they do. They must do something. But on YouTube, give it the thumbs up. And it really helps us maneuver through. And for heaven's sake, make sure that you're subscribed. You got to make sure, because I'm looking at our numbers, and it is really wild. For as many people who are engaged, there are still a significant number of people who aren't subscribed. I think they just don't know. They think that they might be. And then, for good measure, hit that bell, just give a little tickle, and then you will get a notification about a half hour before we do anything. And sometimes we like to do surprise streams. We like to do, Alex, you do Joy of Game Mastering.
Indeed.
Yeah. And
it's helpful to get those notifications.
It sure is. It sure is. And then you just kind of know. And then maybe if you are unable to attend the live broadcast, you will see that there's a notification saying, "Hey, Green Ronin just did a thing," and you can come and check it out at your leisure. But you have to believe. What's that?
Oh, so you can give Troy a heart attack when you go live and don't tell him you're doing it.
Honestly, the reason I got ahead is I was mucking around in the back end. I was playing with the feature that cuts up your stuff into, it's garbage, but and then I thought, okay, I'm going to close out. And then I saw that I was live. I thought I was live. I'm like, I've been singing and mumbling and doing all kinds of stuff.
Right? Have I been live this whole time?
It was a breathtaking moment, but when I looked at the stream, I saw Alex's handsome face, and I was relieved. But that's why I was like, Alex, what did I call you? I can't remember what I called it. Just something.
It was long.
It was long. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Alex's full and new given name.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, friends, make sure that you're doing all that good stuff. And then, also tell a friend. Tell 5 friends. You know what? Christmas is coming. Send everybody a generous link to our YouTube channel and have them follow us for Christmas for them.
Yeah.
It's a gift that gives all year round.
Yeah.
And thank you though for your support, ongoing and future. Hey, gentlemen, given we're running out of time, are there any sort of final thoughts or words that we want to include, inspirational motivators?
One thing I will throw out there as another option is that another role that Starships can play in your adventure designing is just as a, sort of haunted house / dungeon location.
Oh yeah.
If you're dealing with, hey, we've come across this derelict ship, or
like disembodied Troy, as it were,
crashed ship, or what have you. The ship that's been buried under the ice, or whatever, for 1,000 years. But the wreckage of an alien ship can also be a whole sort of dungeon experience in and of itself, full of potential traps and hazards, and who knows, possibly hostile aliens or robots or what have you, that you can build an adventure out of.
I dig it. How about you, Alex? Any thoughts on incorporating Starships into your M&M experience?
Just again, making sure when you're bringing Starships in, asking yourself how much work you have to do. If they're just there as a means to an end, don't stress yourself out about it. If they're going to be participating more actively in combat, figure out, am I going to be doing spaceships on a human scale, or do I just worry about the spaceships on spaceship scale, and keeping things simple for yourself instead of worrying about, well, what's the size category of a starfighter as opposed to a capital ship, and how does that really? How many ranks of growth is that from zero human?
Right.
If you don't need to worry about that, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But David Bodie, can we get a disembodied Troy as ship computer soundboard? Certainly. I released the license to that product. You may, and I want you to play it for the people in your M&M campaign. I bet you can find a lot of very useful quotes and things just by re-listening to the streams. Yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
if your superheroes can't destroy a spaceship by themselves, do ship on ship scale. If your
Yeah.
superheroes can't
Yeah.
destroy a ship by themselves, then it starts to get a little messier.
Yeah. I dig it. All very good thoughts on this expanding conversation. Speaking of expanding, I think of The Expanse, and of course, that's our space TTRPG that runs on the Adventure Game Engine. We'll be talking about more of that stuff in the next Thursday, but I'm betting you that there's some good maps or things that you might want to peruse or use or pick up with our recently closed. We're going into what do they call it? Extended, late pledges, late pledge time, which people can still buy some of the stuff, but it includes some maps of the deck plans. So very, very cool. Thank you, Devious, for dropping the
Disembodied
links.
Troy AI needs to say, "Gravy can't do that for you, Alex," or something like that. I'm a gravy. I can't do that.
No gravy's allowed.
Alex, you're gravy mistaken.
Yep, that's the answer. I hate it.
I love it. That's it. That's the only answer there can possibly be.
And then Troy vents me out the airlock.
I would never.
Through the gravy field.
Just a gravy field, exactly right. It'd just be these giant globules of
gravy. The rare gravy nebula.
Delicious. Hey, real quick, I just want to share this rumor that I heard, and I can't substantiate it. I don't, so I'll deny it if anybody allegedly that there is a someone's doing some kind of a cookbook of gravies of the season for the upcoming holidays.
You don't say.
So I hear. I mean, I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Better not be me.
You're like, then I don't see that on my to-do list.
Alex is like, damn, it could be me though. I might just not know it.
It could be for you. It could be for you. Who can say? Gentlemen, thank you so much. Steve, what's going on in your world in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe?
Let's see. I am going to be visiting our friends up north in Canada for CanCon in the beginning of November in Ottawa, which should be a fun weekend. CanCon is primarily a literary convention, but I have some friends of mine, actually members of my online gaming group, who are there, who I'm going to see. And have a chance to check out Ottawa while I'm there. And hard at work on our, speaking of Starships and Starhaven, hard at work on our next M&M mix-up, which will feature Starhaven and the Star Raiders. So you can look forward to some more Starhaven and spaceship goodness coming to the Atomic Think Tank and the Cape and Cowl Club fairly soon.
Very nice. How about you, Alex? What do you got cooking?
Oh, not much. Working on stuff. Can't talk about. Working on stuff. I can't talk about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just trying to get a lot of stuff done here before I'll be at UConn in a couple weeks, running a couple games, including a spaceship as dungeon game. So that'll be fun.
Nice. Hey, very cool. Timely.
Right?
I dig that. And just encouraging people, don't feel like you should go buy a different gravy cookbook. Feel free to save your gravy savings for greater gravy goodness in the future, perhaps. Allegedly.
Right. Allegedly.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think as far as like what's in the tank stuff, as far as the Cape and Cowl Club, I think we're doing the thing on Friday. Workshop on Friday.
That is the plan, as I understand it.
Nice. Anything else that we're missing there? I think we're up to date on.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. And of course, next week will be our Halloween horror episode.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it. I'm telling you guys, this is my favorite time of the year.
Mhm.
It is literally my favorite time of the year. I'm looking so forward to it, and I'm trying to decide whether I should dress as a gravy squatch this year because I do have a costume
Mhm.
that I've been working on.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, because why wouldn't I? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for the great conversation and chat. You are awesome as well, and you're going to want to stick around. We're going to move into what's in the tank.
Mhm.
Devious and I will talk about. We'll regale you with all of the things that are happening specific to mutants and masterminds at theatomicthinktank.com. So stick around, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. See ya.
Until next time.
Bye. Wait, before I'm getting rid of you, I've got to.
Getting rid of me.
Not getting
Right?
rid of you. You know what I mean.
Can't venture
Matthew
out to
Tyler,
space,
there's
Alex.
Here, let me
Matthew Tyler, there is one important Starhaven adventure coming up.
Yes.
Nice. Well, there you go. You have that to look forward to. All right. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back in just a minute with Devious and what's in the tank.
What's in the tank?
What is in the tank? Hey, Devious. How are you, my friend? I can't hear you for some reason. Is it just me? What's in the box? This happens to us sometimes. Pat, can you hear Devious? No, just me. Okay. Yeah, Devious. We're having a. I see your smiling visage. Yeah, it's not that. So while we're hanging out and waiting to hear Devious, I wanted to give a couple updates that are, tank adjacent. One of them is we'll be working on some. There are. I put out the call on the think tank for people to come and, or people who aspired to be or have done some voice work. And boy, we got a lot of responses, which is great because I need all those voices. And it's going to be, we're going to be doing some VO stuff. I don't want to give out too much of the detail because it's going to be fun. Who knows? It could be just a nightmare, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. And we'll be doing some recordings together. And, of course, it's just a just for fun kind of gig. The other thing that I want to remind folks of, like I'm looking in chat and I see lots of people who are let's see. I see some streamers. I see some folks who are heavily involved in other great communities. I want a one. What do I want? I want like we'll say no longer than a minute um, of an advertisement. because I want to play them on our live streams. So if you are, let's say, you're somebody who's you've published some Mutants and Mastermind stuff, and you want to let people know about it, do a commercial. No longer than 90 seconds, I think, is probably the way to do it. Preferably 1 minute. And or maybe you're doing it. Maybe you are the GM for a long running. I mean, this is just hypothetical. You're the GM for a long running superhero podcast, and you want to let the world know that you're around. Maybe you've been doing this for like 5 years or 6 years or something crazy like that. Just record something up. Now, as far as what software, that is a very good question. You can get away. Hey, I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Good. Sorry about that. I just
No
wanted
worries.
before we go live though, I want to tell you, all I wanted was like a juice and a cookie, but they have so many questions when you go to donate blood, like
That's
whose
true.
blood is this? Why is it in a bucket? Why are you staring at me? Is that a knife? Just
Right. Sir,
oh
you
my
only
God,
get
are we
one
live?
cookie.
Are we live now?
We are live. We
Oh
are live.
God, I just
Yeah,
my
yeah.
lawyer
I
has
mean,
asked me not to speak about the situation and pending legal. Anyway, hi.
well,
Hi,
now you've
Troy.
gone and done it.
Now I've gone and done dude it.
You done doed it. Let
Sorry
me
about
try to
that.
get you set. Here, we'll do like that. Oh, you have things to share that are on or that are actually on your face space,
On my
right?
face is space.
The
Well,
place of face spaces.
my face is spaces. Yes, I do. I mean,
There
so
we go. Yeah. We don't want to cut it off. Well, listen, friend, I am so glad that your sound stuff is sorted. I'm also very glad that that everything got worked out at the other, that little the bank, as it were.
yes, exactly. So anyway, they can't prove anything. I wasn't there, and I don't care if it's on video.
No, but thank you for
Um,
the cookies. I appreciate it. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. What's in the tank, my friend? What's going
Oh,
on?
we've got 2 weeks to catch up on. I did a what's in the tank for October 13th, 2024, and we have a lot of stuff in there. One of the things is Alex did a Joy of Game Mastering on exploring the mysteries of being a GM, and I kind of like wrote some of my own thoughts and also linked the Joy of Game Mastering to that article as well. And I came up with 2 kind of GM challenges. The GM challenges I do, they're not necessarily for any kind of reward. They're just kind of get everybody's mind going. And
Oh,
I came up,
prestige.
yeah. I came up with one to make your pitch for a campaign in Sourcebook, and also one for a campaign pitch for a danger zone. And we've had a few people put in some really interesting ones. I really, really enjoy. Um, I shared invention house rules that I had because somebody had written something previously, and I threatened to share my house rules on it, and by cracky, I did. And we had the last social gaming contract thing I did. Social gaming contract for session 0. I
I
did a
love that.
little.
Could you explain just a little
Mhm.
bit of what that means? What's a social contract?
Well, social contract. Here we go. That was I thought I was going to stop with part 2, but then I saw this really great video somebody called the GM Philosopher did. He's on YouTube. He is badly mistaken about the best game in the world. It's some other game that starts with a D or something like that. He's incorrect, of course, but
Nope.
it's the Drummond and Dingles or
Ding
Dingoes
dong
and
ding doo doos.
yes, or dingbats and dingoes. I'm not sure. Anyway, he actually got into the history of the social contract. Concept of social contract has its roots in philosophy, beginning with the works of several influential thinkers, and he actually got into like the beginning of it. But basically, it's you as a citizen, if you will, or in this case, a player, agreeing that the game master is the person in charge, and that there are certain things you're going to give up control of so that you can participate in what the game master has to offer, and
I
establish
love
mutual
this.
agreements balance authority and freedom, protect player rights, promote the general good, maintain open communications, address conflict fairly, transparency and governance, and respect consent and autonomy, and respect time commitment.
You know,
Mhm.
the TTRPG is a complex social engagement that not everybody is familiar with. It's different. It's got a different landscape, a different sort of an ebb and a flow. Maybe in the when we're walking around the real world, we are not so inclined to have someone curate a story for us as we're moving through the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of relationship, although it is so very different than what like I think that sometimes we can kind of get caught up as people in the I'm I'm getting important, you know what I mean? I'm going to do stuff that I'm going to get more important, but with a it's almost like a good improvisation troupe
Oh,
that
absolutely.
yeah
And and most people are brought up on a game being adversarial.
yeah
It's me against you.
mhm.
It's or us
There's a
against
winner, there's a
them.
loser, yeah.
Yeah, in team sports. But a role playing game is a different animal altogether.
With
It's
many layers
oh
of,
yeah,
because in some aspects it is about winning and losing,
mhm,
but it's also about how you lose.
yeah,
And sometimes you want to lose. And I mean, it's about that experience. And so I love the notion of, we all kind of carrying around a social contract that sometimes we're learning as we get to know each other what the, when you've broken one of the strictures or, you know, um, or changed, and evolved something. So yeah, I love that. I think that anytime that we can spend interrogating ourselves and why we're here and what we're doing and
mhm,
what are the boundaries, I think it just makes for such a better, more I want to say earnest and purposeful experience.
I agree. But also, we had a lot of entries for the challenge that we had, the Dream a Team and a Theme
Yeah.
challenge, and it's now over. Before I go on there, I did want to put on the 13th. I also put together all the social gaming contract for session 0, part 1, 2, and 3. Put them together in the featured articles, and the
Yeah.
GM challenge I put there as well. The featured stat blocks were actually Dream Team that Matt Mabray put together,
Nice, Matt.
and yeah, and should we go ahead and say who is the person walking
Yes.
away with the coveted
Green
a green
Ronini.
Ronini?
Oh, like an angel.
Oh, do you hear the angelic chorus singing?
Oh,
Oh, it's amazing. The winner, as chosen by the random die roll, that Troy did, that we were
random blue
at.
rose die.
Yes, and it rolled a result of a moon. Are you
It
sure that was a 6?
did. We weren't
Are you
quite sure what that shape was, but we
That's
did figure
just
out that it
we
was a
figured it out, it was a 6, and that makes the winner the aforementioned Mr. Matt Mabray,
Matt
Dream Team.
Mabray.
That's right.
Congratulations.
The Little Liberty League.
Oh, can we take a
Um,
look?
quite a sure, absolutely. One moment.
That's so fun.
Da, 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 da. One
I'm
moment.
I'm getting, of course, the Little Rascals vibe, which when I was a kid, I just loved that.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Where was they? There they are. And the Ashworth clan had been living in the Appalachian Mountains about as long as anyone can remember. Basically, it's little superheroes, tyke, little tykes with fantastic powers. And Miss Whammy is a little gregarious witch. And I think I also put them in the stat blocks here.
Do
Sorry,
you
the
have are you
featured stat
playing that?
blocks.
Are you looking at the tank right now, sharing it, or
Yeah.
we've
Oh,
got
you
the
know
the
what?
Green Ronini is occluding our there we go.
There we go.
It's just
Um,
so big. You get
I know. It's just I have a hard time, looking away from its majesty.
I know it
So
just
that's
draws you
why
in.
I know. But yeah, basically Dicky Doohickey, the boy genius, child prodigy with inventions like the flying Justice Jalopy, and Miss
This is
Whammy,
great.
the young witch from the Appalachian Mountains studying under Adrian Eldritch. Basically in the 40s, basically the Little Liberty League, and he has actually other characters that he's put in here recently. and that's actually going to be in the next What's in the Tank. But there's other characters that he's continued to add. He had the entry, he put the stats in, so he counted as a double, but he kept going. He kept going after that, and now he has other characters in there as well.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. In the name, just Miss Whammy and Dickie Doohickey.
Dickie Doohickey. Oh yes. There's also a couple of others. We'll loop back to them.
Yeah.
But we also have What's in the Tank for October 20th. Most recently, just last night, I compiled this, and Matt Mabry did an article on the Liberty League returns, their further
Nice.
adventures. That's right. And we have the GM Challenge Make Your Pitch, the Chemical Fire, Jason Cochran and Paul Rua. Goodness, you fellows are down there cranking it out. Great stuff. It's based on a game that Jason Cochran ran, and basically a lot of spinning plates the heroes had to keep up with on the adventure, and I just loved hearing about it. Steinbrewer is back. Steinbrewer's back, baby.
And this time it's personal.
That's right. And he's got more Canadian cities up there, basically the proposed Earth Prime cities. We have Brandon Brewer putting in the Battle of London. I also, Squire Cortez mentioned if there was any kind of idea about what to do with, how to run a tramp steamer during a storm for one of his games.
I'll say that again.
And
What?
a tramp steamer.
A tramp steamer?
Yeah, basically it's a ship, essentially, a seagoing ship. And you can have like a passenger steamer or a cargo steamer. But I did the Voyage of the Lily May, and I broke down how, different things you could do. Like here's the thing on the tramp trade that I found on Wiki.
Cool.
But I did Phases of the Storm, random rolls for challenges.
How fun.
What they could mean and how it could be adjudicated. So
I dig it.
But for the other challenges, we have Hope Springs, a land out of time, a little dinosaur flavored pitch for a place for a campaign source book. I did a article, hot takes on advantages, some different ideas that I have about advantages. And Paul Rule also did the Truth Revealed Dinosaur Park, where what is his name? The Siberius Rex, the Cerebro Rex,
Cerebrus Rex,
Cerebrosaurus Rex. What I apologize. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. Cerberus Rex, something like that.
Yeah.
Is up to no good, of course.
Cool.
For the Aegis Files, we've got a lot of nice ones in here. Here's another Liberty League member, the Greyhound.
Oh, I love it.
And also Jane Q Public, also team members in the Liberty League. Little
Liberty League.
And of course, Chris Davies cranking them out, being great. Jack Kellum in the stat blocks. He, in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, Thunderbird, protector of the people, basically a paragon. Somebody from Oklahoma, I believe. One moment. Yeah, Tahlequah. I apologize for mangling pronunciation. Tahlequah, Oklahoma. A mix of Osage and Salagi descent. Again, my apologies. As a member of the Atasisqua bird clan, Charles worked as an EMT. His bravery during a rescue where he was struck by lightning caught the attention of the Thunderbird, who granted him its powers. Since then, Charles has traveled across North America, focusing on saving lives in remote, underserved areas.
Cool. I love that. That's a great addition. Yeah, and of course, Jack is of Gods and Game Masters, and has a little space within the tank. And you can go over and ask some questions and get into some of the products he's launched.
Absolutely. Also, I mean, here's the dream team so far. Here's the dream and the Adrema team and a theme challenge. All the articles all in a row, so you can see them all. I also put for the Aegis Files, I did 3 vehicles.
Cool.
Skylark hover bike, a hover car, and the Dragonfly, which is a gunship / transport equivalent of a Quinjet, essentially. For folks. So, if you have a group, then you might want to use that. It's got some. One second.
Real quick, I just want to say, some good
Mhm.
soup says, "How are people so creative? What am I missing?" And Paul says, "ADHD has a lot to do with it for him, and me too. But it's also my greatest enemy. It's both the thing that helps me, be very creative and think outside of the box, and then also forget where the box is, and then why am I doing this, and why am I now at Michael's craft store? What have I done?"
What? Yeah, and like why I forever have a hard drive full of 20% completed projects.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so
Yes, that's right. Paul says it's my superpower and my kryptonite.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I did want to mention that Steve
Yes.
Kempton had a nice little question up there. What are your M&M house rules? And several
Yeah.
people have shared a lot of their house rules. Paul Rua, Jason Cochran, Arkor Vorak, Brandon Brewer, Matt Maybray have put some of their house rules in there. Great reads there. And also, what are your favorite third-party M&M rules? He's asked as well of people. So definitely, turn your attention towards that. Let Steve know he's wanting to know what's going on out there and what rules you're using. And
Yeah.
I think that if you want to have an opportunity to speak to and perhaps, help uh help guide the course of future development in Mutants and Masterminds, tell him what rules you like. Let him know.
Yeah. It's
So
also interesting. House rules oftentimes are a reflection of maybe a thing that wasn't quite considered or a missing element, or just an unconsidered facet
Mhm.
of gameplay that, that's yeah, we're all interested in that kind of stuff. And we're also going to be opening up on the think tank a space called the Skunk Works. And it's not just for age stuff, but it is basically a homebrew kit bash of a space for people to kind of mix and match and do a bunch of different things, or maybe share what they've already done. But it's a space where different folks can have competing, not even competing, sort of self evolving, amplifying ideas around new and interesting ways to play green running games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great space, a great idea for that. We got Matt Mabry. He won the last challenge, but I did want to mention we've got another challenge, but there's only a week before this challenge is up because of the
They
nature
can do
of
it.
the challenge.
They can do it.
I think so. I
What
think
is
they
it?
can do it. It is the Boogeyman contest.
Dun dun
What goes
dun.
bump in the night?
I love it. This is
in the
good
chilling
stuff.
In the chilling spirit of Halloween, the Atomic Think Tank presents the Boogeyman Contest.
Ooh.
Ooh. This is your chance to delve into the darkness and design a fearsome creature to haunt the nightmares of heroes and civilians alike. The
Nice.
challenge: create a boogeyman inspired by classic monster tropes, urban legends, or eerie fairy tales. Your creation should invoke terror and wonder, embodying
Ooh.
powers and abilities that amaze, frighten, and challenge even the bravest of souls. Whether drawn from folklore, myth, or your darkest imaginings, this is a time of craft a horror that stalks the shadows.
Oh no.
Yeah, submission guidelines must be based on an existing myth, legend, or recognizable fairy tale.
Oh yeah.
Include a description of the creature's origin, its powers, how it terrorizes the world around it.
Oh god.
Stat the creature with suitable abilities. It showcases its frightening nature in an Aegis Files entry with a hashtag Boogeyman Contest and hashtag Mumemo Challenge.
You monster.
Bonus points for creativity, unique twists on the classic trope, and innovative uses of horror elements. The
Oh,
deadline, you've got a week. We need this in by the end of next Sunday, so it
yeah.
can be announced for the Halloween episode.
Yes. Yeah. We got Halloween coming just right around the corner, and yeah, we need your spooky ideas, your boogeyman, your boogeyman. I suppose it could
Boogeyman.
be a boogie woman too.
It's true. Ira Boogeyman. Hi, I live down the block. Ira Boogeyman.
Myra Boogeyman. How about
Yeah.
how about the diabolical disco. What's another demon?
The demon.
The boogeyman who
Disco is not
haunted
dead. Disco is alive.
who haunted the 70s disco
There you
dance
go.
floors.
Oh my. Scary.
Yeah.
But we've got to have him in by next Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
And of course, as traditional in the Moo Mammo Challenge, you're going to get the lauded bragging rights that you've always wanted, and the coveted prestigious green Ronini, and
Yes.
a digital gift from the Atomic Think Tank team. Your choice of one PDF from the Green Ronin store, plus your terrifying creation will be featured in the Atomic Think Tank Hall of Horrors.
Yes, indeed. And now, also our buddy Matt, who won, gets to pick anything that he'd like out of the Green Ronin online store.
Yep.
That's a digital. You know what I mean?
Yep. PDF.
So take a look at the store, my friend, and then ping me in on the think tank and say, I want this, and that shall be yours.
Absolutely. So
with our compliments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. I got.
Powerpuff Girls had a disco themed boogeyman.
That's it. What? Powerful. Oh, Doc Void.
Yeah.
Did they? Oh, Boogeyman. Ah, very great name. Boogeyman. There you go.
What, are you just getting my joke? The disco person haunting the discos?
Yes, I'm just now getting it. Definitely. You need to phone ahead.
I love that you're like, yes, what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. That thing. Sure. Boogie Wonderland.
Thank you, Paul, for the roller boogeyman. I love that. Logic Core, Paul, Doc Boyd. You felt me. You heard me. I feel hurt. And I heard you as well. Devious, thank you so much for all this good stuff.
Sure.
What's in the tank? One of my favorite parts of the day that talks about one of my favorite parts of my week. Also anticipate that you will be seeing me this Wednesday for office hours. Or this Wednesday. Yeah, that's right. A little later in the evening, so we don't conflict with our buddy Jack's live stream. But look for me. We'll have a thank you, Doc Boyd. It says, I heard you, Troy. I'll be there. And how it'll roll is I'm generally going to open up with a private Zoom office space where you can pop in. And we had some conversations about that, says Jay Gray. Are you about to complicate my life, sir? Jack says, thank you. I'm doing cyberpunk world building this time.
Ooh, cool.
Nice. At what time is your stream, friend? That's at 4 p.m. Pacific. Am I correct? And then what time are you done? Do you do an hour? Or do you do like 3 hours? You'll have to let me know.
4 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
2 p.m. your time.
1 p.m. We're 3 hours. So you'll end will you end 6 p.m. usually? Okay, gotcha. Okay. 2 hours. Eastern? Oh,
Eastern.
Yeah. So you're 3 hours time zone away from us. You stream for 2 hours. We'll figure it out. Anticipate seeing me around the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock time then, because that doesn't really conflict. Pacific.
Not told there would be math involved. This is not fair.
I know there's too many layers of math on this, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to be a mathematologist.
Yeah.
But I am here to say thank you, everybody, for all your support. Thank you for hanging out and having a good time with us. Thank you, Devious, for curating all the good stuff for this What's in the Tank segment. Please can throw up a Twitch link. Yeah. I don't have you set yet. And I'm not sure. You know what? We'll share. Oh yeah. You can do it, can you?
Yeah, I can do it. Hold on, let me find it.
Beauty. Don't forget, friends. I need your 1 minute to 90 second. Advertiser. Now, maybe you're doing something in the future you want to advertise, or maybe you've got some kind of fun something that you want to advertise. If you got it, send it my way, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I'll play it as a good transition for us from from Mutants Masterminds Monday into What's in the Tank, and then of all the. There we go. Thank you, Devious. I'm going to say the deadline, Doc Void, for that is going to be tomorrow, but it's an evergreen request. So, get it to me as soon as you can. And we'll find a nice cadence of updates and that kind of stuff. And, and I think there's probably something more that I need to give you, like, Jay Gray, you are doing a stream game, and we need to talk about that. I will make myself available. I'm looking forward to that very much so. So with that being said, anticipate, what I'll do is I'm going to drop a little link that we'll probably end up getting your audio submissions through a Google form. I think that's the best way to do it. I'll get that set up, and so it kind of guides you through the kind of info that I need, and then we'll go from there. So anticipate seeing that in the tank.
If you're recording and you want some free software, Audacity is a free software that will help you record your stuff, play it back.
It's great. Yeah, I dropped a link to that earlier in the chat for folks, but it is definitely well worth the money, which is, it's free. Okay, anything else for the good of the order, my friend?
I think that's about the long and the short of it. I am going to redrop that Audacity link real quick.
Thanks. Always a great time hanging out with everybody, and I do appreciate all of your hard work, and look forward to come by our Thursday stream. We'll have some fun and talk about things, games powered by the Adventure Game Engine. You know what, Devious? What do you say?
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Say it again.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye now. Ciao, everybody.